Alrighty, so I am making my third Commonplace book entry over the shitty first drafts and then rethinking shitty first drafts. So I will just start with the shitty first drafts quotes that I have. So the first one that I have is, you can safely assume that you've created God in your own image when it turns out that God hates all of the same people you do. That was good. That was good. And I know that was a conversation that was almost like a narrative, but I still really liked it because it was still really, really good and really stuck out to me for so many reasons. So I'll just dive in. I have recently been going back to church. And it's not everyone's thing. It doesn't have to be. I do not expect people to do anything that they do not want to do for themselves, because I wouldn't want someone to tell me what I can and cannot do and what I should and should not do, especially if it's something that I know that I really, really, really want and I really like it being a part of my lifestyle and my livelihood. So therefore, I've been going back to church and really reconnecting with myself and my faith. And the reason that this stuck out so much is because people like to always say, not even just about God, there is stuff about God, but people like to say in general, they almost create a scenario around everything that goes on in their life. But if you notice, it's a scenario that always plays out in their favor, but it's never like, to me, when people do that, I think it's because they're scared of not receiving reciprocation with anything, and like validation on what they think, and is what they think right, is what they think wrong. Is there a possibility that they're going to have to apologize, accept responsibility, take initiative with their life? And so that really stuck out to me because you've created God in your own image, but in general, you've created your own image of every scenario. And I used to do that. I literally was the queen at that. Like thinking about it now, it just drives me crazy because I was so one-track minded. I never thought about anything else or anyone else. Or maybe I am wrong. Or maybe I'm not even wrong, but maybe I should have a better perspective. Maybe I should have a wider perspective. Maybe I should educate myself more. And it was just something that I was like, wow. Because sometimes you've changed it as a person, but then you see it on paper, like someone else writing and talking about it and talking about people like that, and you're like, I was one of those people. And then it just blows your mind because you sit there and you think about it and you think about how everything has changed from then to now, and like how you are as a person, how you were versus how you are, and it's mind-blowing. It really is. But yeah, so that was my first one. My second one is, start by getting something. Anything on your paper. Anything good in life probably is not gonna get there easy or on the first try. You're not just gonna try to become a doctor and everything work out perfectly for you. You're not just gonna try to become a singer and end up blowing up. And if you do, it's like a freak accident. Or when people say like that person blew up from one video, usually it's not like that was not their first video. It was them trying from when they were younger, and the quality was not as good on their videos, and there wasn't as much saturation in that specific song they were singing, and X, Y, and Z. It all plays a role into it. And so, but the thing is that at least they made those videos. At least they did something towards what they wanted their end goal to be. You always have to start with something. You literally can't start with nothing, because you will never get anything. Like, you'll never have anything in life. You'll never get closer to what you want long term. It'll never happen if you don't just start. So get something down. Get anything down and take it one thing at a time. Execute everything that you do at a time. And then my third one for the shitty first draft was I would eventually let myself trust the process. This also pertains to many things in life in general. This one, I feel like everything that I've talked about with all of my Commonplace book entries have all related very closely to me, and I haven't really been able to like use it in like someone else's context of like their life, because like in the end of the day someone could tell me something, but that might not be the way that they're trying to talk about it, or it might not actually be how they feel about it. So it's not my place to speak on other people's lives or how things pertain to them. But what I can say and what pertains to me with this whole situation and how it says this is that I would eventually let myself trust the process with everything. So a really, really, really good thing that I could talk about that changed my life, and it sounds cheesy, but is actually coming back to school. So school scares me. I'm just gonna be honest. School scares me. I have worked since I was 14 with a worker's permit. I've always usually had more than one job to help pay for things. And you know, I always wanted to go to school and to get a degree in something because I love my mom. She's my best friend, but I was like, but I don't want to be my mom. You know, I don't want to work as hard as my mom does the rest of her life, you know? And I don't mean I would ever not be a hard worker, but different circumstances, better circumstances, and better because I created it for myself. And every time I have tried to go back to school, it has always fell through. It has never worked out in my favor, primarily because I got in my own way, but still, it has literally always fallen through. And I finally got to the point where I was like, trust the process. Keep going to school. If you struggle, ask someone for help. If you get a bad grade one time, maybe next time you'll get a good grade. But don't give up. Because if you're giving up, then you do not trust the process. And it all just kind of is like eye-opening, because you think about it and you're like, wow. Yep, yeah, you gotta trust the process if you want literally anything good to ever come to you. And then, so now we're gonna go into rethinking the shitty first draft. So the first one I got is, it will have already been revised hundreds of times. So basically it was basically saying like what some people would think is a rough draft is actually, to me, already revised 100 of times. It was never just mindlessly thought of. It was always changed and fixed before, which defeats the whole purpose, right, of a rough draft. And wow. So basically, whenever I think about this, I think it has been revised hundreds of times. I think about whenever I had, basically, whenever I was severely overweight, I would make posts, and I would make body positivity posts, and I would use like the soft touch filter, and but like let a little bit show of like not the prettiest side of things, and you know, I wouldn't be 100% real and raw. I would almost be like fake real and raw. So say what I thought you should say to make other people feel good, and do like the do as I say, not as I do, and not stick to any of it at all, and not treat myself the way that I deserve to be treated. Whether I wanted to better my lifestyle or not, I did not handle how I treated myself correctly. Like, I just think about the posts that I would make and how I would talk to other people trying to help them, and everything that I would say had already been revised. It had already been changed, and I had already been fixated on it hundreds of times, thousands of times probably. So yeah. And then my second one is all first drafts are shitty. Everything that you start in life is more than likely not gonna go the way you expect it to go. I am so tired of doing things and being like, I am so nervous to do this. It's probably not gonna go good. And I'm like, who cares? Like, at least you're doing it. Like, at least you're doing it. You know? I don't know. This one pertains to my mom. God, I love my mom, but it reminds me of my mom because she actually has her own business now. But when she had tried multiple times to leave her job to make a job similar but basically be her own boss, it was always hard and rough, and I don't think that she liked that it didn't click right away, that things didn't pick up right away, and that's normal. That's a normal thing to feel. Like, it's normal to feel discouraged and let down, and almost like it's off-putting to try something that you really, 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 really want and it not go the way that you want it to the first time. Now she successfully has her own business. She successfully left her other employer who did not treat her well. And she is happier than she's ever been. But the first drafts, not the first time she tried, maybe the 10th, 12th time she tried, they were all shitty. It didn't go good. She finally got it though, because she didn't stop trying, but she still went for it, even after it let her down. And then the third one is, if it works for you to pour it out, pour away. If something works for you and someone is like, it's literally the don't knock it till you try it. If something works for you, then you have to do it like that. So basically, with anything in life, if someone's like, no, don't do it that way, or this way is better. Well, if you like your way, you can do new things, you can try new things, but if you come back to find, I like how I do this, this works for me, this makes me happy, I like making my coffee in the morning, I like stopping to get a Polar Pop of whatever you drink, I like going for a walk at Fenton Park every day because it makes me calm, and I like to listen to my podcasts that don't talk about anything important, but they're funny. And if you like that, you like that, and you need to do that because that's what creates balance in your life. Happiness, but also having to get things done. And if you don't have that balance, you burn out. And I feel like it takes away from the fire that's behind what you do. So when you don't have that passion, things start to become dry and there's less value. And you take a step back, and then you take another few steps back, and then everything starts to fall apart. So I think you have to maintain that, and if that means that it is doing the things that you love to do and pouring everything of yourself into one thing because that's what you care about the most, then that is what you do. But anyways, yeah. So altogether with 6 quotes. The Commonplace book entry, number 2, and it is September 14th around 3:20 in the afternoon. And my name is Sarah Jackson, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed that.